Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat. Here I am today with a quick review of the latest Rick and Morty episode that just aired a few moments ago on Adult Swim. I'm going to cover some of the stuff I really liked about the episode first. At first, I really liked the whole gags about how predictable heist movies are, especially with all the tropes of getting the gang together and the tropes about, oh, I planned for you to trick me, so I double crossed your trick, and also the concept of double crossing and the plots too. And that's something I honestly really liked. And another thing I really liked was at the very end of the episode, just kind of this back and forth between Rick and Mr. Poopy Butthole, where it was talking about, well, you got me fired from my job, and I wish I could have shared the connection with my class with my students. Oh well. And I was like Rick, like not really caring, like, oh well, too bad. It's really classic Rick right there. And also another thing I really liked about this episode was this whole, at least initially, the whole gag of the whole, oh, really? I switched which one is which between Randotron and the conceived plot robot. And I just liked also just like the whole concept. It's like, actually, I switched your name tags. No, but then I switched processors. But then I switched you here. It's like, no, but then I put it in the place where the other one should have been and went back and forth for a while. And I liked that at first. But ultimately, I'm going to go into some of the stuff I kind of didn't really like about this episode. So many of the jokes just revolved around, hey, look how bland plots of heist movies are. And that's really like 90% of the jokes in this episode. It ultimately just boiled down to, when like Ocean's 11 does that, isn't that stupid? Or like, especially at the very end, where it was literally just like this copycat routine between the contrived plot robot and Rick, where it's like, actually, I knew you were going to do that, so I did this. And it was like over and over again for 2 hours, with Rick ultimately winning by simply out double crossing the robot far more times. And it was just kind of this weird, even for Rick and Morty standards, where they're like having these endings which are kind of non traditional or like kind of really well thought out. It just seemed kind of silly, even for Rick and Morty standards, and it just was like kind of boring. Although I did like the whole concept of, oh, since that they're going to expect us to do things, and they've already plotted us to do things that we should be doing, then we need to do most random, completely random things in order to confuse the robot, which revolved around like plots, which ultimately revolved around all the characters just literally literally scooting in on their behinds into the main hall with the confrontation. And as like ultimately, I liked that gag, and I liked like the whole montage they had with it. But ultimately, I felt the number of gags, and especially the number of different styles of gags, kind of lacking in this episode. Because, like I said, basically, if you didn't like the whole "oh, they're making fun of heist movies" gag, yeah, it was a pretty long episode for you because there's not much else other than that type of joke in it. But overall, I thought it was an okay episode. I honestly loved last week's episode a lot more. So far, of the three episodes, this has been the weakest one of the season. But what do you guys think? Did you like this episode? Did you dislike this episode? I love reading your comments down below. If you want more Rick and Morty quick review content like this, please like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification button. I am Super Orange Cat, and that is all.